So we took all of this into consideration to say, what can we do? What can we do? How many units do we need to put a dent in the problem? And what those housing units should look like. And we put together a model to do that. A couple of things we need to point out. We know that we as a community can't house everyone that's cost burdened. It's not possible. So we need to do it. We could, but it would absolutely impact the quality of life in this community to add that number of households. So we have to be cognizant of that. But we can do something. And so what we put together was an initial set of 10-year targets that we would propose to work with. The first one being that we increase student enrollment in Sedona schools by 50%. So that's the starter target. From there, increase the percentage of population that's below age 65 to 60%. Remember, right now, I believe it's in the ballpark of 48. I'll apologize because I forget what that number looks like several pages back. Increase the percentage of critical employees living in Sedona, teachers, firefighters, law enforcement, to 15%. Reduce the number of cost-burdened households by cost-burdened seniors by 35%. Redeploy 85 units formerly occupied by seniors back into the marketplace. I'll explain what that means here in just a second. Reduce percentage of cost-burdened hospitality and service households by 25%. And reduce the number of employees that commute into Sedona for work from 80 to 70%. We put those together because we see those as achievable, and achievable without necessarily impacting the quality of life that we all enjoy in Sedona. When we put that together, what that looks like is 600 units for working age households, an additional 175 units for income restricted seniors. So we're talking about 775 units that we would like to bring into the marketplace over the next 10 years. Caveat, 221 of those are already in the works. So we're already doing a lot to make a dent into this. When we look, though, at what this means in terms of the types of households we want to be able to be attractive to, we have to also not just look at the number of units we're bringing in, but the number of bedrooms per unit. If you want to bring in families, you can't just do one-bedroom units. So the model allows us to tinker with that a little bit, and that way we can balance the number of units that we would have. What it says is we need more 3- and 4-bedroom units. We've done this in 2 scenarios to show you the difference, but if we did a 60-40 split with 60% focused on working age households with children, what we see is an addition of 470 kids. That would get us to the 50%. 756 added working age adults into our community. Keep in mind, a number of those people are already driving here. So it's not as if we're adding additional traffic by bringing them in. We're essentially bringing them closer to home or closer to work. 88 units formerly occupied by seniors. And what we've accounted for, which is a guess, this is the only guess in here, everything else is defensible. But what we're anticipating is of those 170 plus units that could potentially come on the market as the ability to create a better living environment for some of our cost-burdened seniors, we expect we would be able to capture roughly half of those, and that we would lose half of it to short-term rentals or to other situations where individuals come in and are able to buy a house outside of our market. So we have to anticipate that we can't capture all of those. Thus the number 88. So we hope in our targets that we can capture 85 of those, because that drives that number down even further. So now you're looking at even fewer households that we have to bring to table in addition to the 221 that's already here. So what we're looking at when we say that we want to bring 175 units online for Sedona seniors, we're looking at that, and this gives me an opportunity to say something else, so I apologize. But we're anticipating that if we can find a location for them to reside, to continue to reside in Sedona, but under better living conditions where they are not cost burdened, that puts their homes then back into the market.
Okay.
We're hoping to capture roughly half of those, because most of those will be affordable And we're hoping to be able to capture those and return those back into an affordable market. So that's what we mean by that. But the other piece I wanted to add real quick is that 175, understand that we are looking at that as both potential for assisted living, possibly, as well as individuals who can have independent living. So we're looking at both avenues.
So it could be someone moving from a, let's say, fully paid-for home to a rental situation in a multifamily kind of a setting.
It's possible, or it could also be a transfer of ownership, so that it's a place where they could actually continue to own, but own in a way that's affordable. So we'll look at, this is the fun part, because I get to say these things and hand it off to Logan Simpson, and then they get to come up with the way to make it work. But I think ultimately the goal is to be able to put them in a sustainable situation. So if they are living in a place now that's fully paid off, but their Social Security is not sufficient for them to live, then we need to be able to provide a housing unit that is as of or better quality, and still works within their income limits. So it's a tall order. The good news is that if there is anything where federal funding is still available for, it's for seniors. So, and it might be the one time I would recommend using it.